We just had two lackluster back-to-back UFC cards, UFC London and UFC Mexico. Now we got an Apex card coming up this weekend. It's about damn time I go over how to make a good fight card. This applies to fight night or pay-per-view, doesn't matter. I got 5 rules on how to make a good fight card. And yeah, I'm going to provide an example with each, so it makes sense so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, there's no excuses after this for making a shit fight card. First up, the first rule is, this is the easiest one. It can't be a top-heavy card. We can't just have a good main event and then filler fights the rest of the card. Spread all the good fights throughout. I don't care, the prelims, spread out the good fights. Don't just make it the main event and the co-main event are good and then everything sucks. Put a banger fight to start the pay-per-view. The first fight of the main card matters. It sets the tone for the whole pay-per-view. I've seen so many fight cards, when there's a finish in the first fight, then there's all finishes throughout the whole night. I don't care if it's Jones versus Ngannou. You better put some damn good other fights on the card. Alright, with this second rule, I'm about to fix the whole UFC right here. We got an epidemic of them. Undeserved title shots. That's my second rule. No undeserved title shots. I'm talking no John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. No Sean Strickland getting 2 title shots before Hamzat even gets 1. And no Merab versus O'Malley rematch when O'Malley hasn't even gotten back in the damn win column yet. And no even talking about Justin Gaethje like that's actually an option for Islam to fight next. This is all you do, UFC. Here's how you find out who gets the next title shot. It's not the guy who's available all the time. It's not the guy who's gonna fight for 50 pennies. It's the most dangerous threat to the champ, and the fans usually know who that is. All you gotta do is read your Instagram comments. But I don't suggest reading them now. You're gonna get flamed and roasted for the Merab O'Malley fight. Oh my gosh, they're catching some heat. Alright, let's kick it up a notch with this third rule. This is actually a real rule here. The other two are just givens. The third rule is, if you want a good fight card, it's gotta have at least one storyline. One fight with the storyline. For example, we got the biggest storyline I ever heard of coming up. Gene Silva versus Bryce Mitchell. We got a Christian fighting a possessed motherfucker. Someone possessed by demons. We got a holy war fight. Not only that, it's a battle about the shape of the earth. These guys are polar opposite. And I believe this is a legit beef. This is not staged. It's not even a beef. It's just Bryce has strong faith and Gene Silva's playing into the negativity. But I've never seen build up like this. How did Pierre become the biggest star? He hunted Izzy Adesanya down, made him his rival, beat his ass, took the belt, all because he made a storyline. He was like, yeah, I'm the only guy to knock out Izzy. We all saw the footage of Izzy with the oxygen mask on. That's how they brought him back. You might say, hey, not everyone's got a rival. Not everyone's good at trash talking. Fair enough, fair enough. Nate Diaz was like, you know what? No one deserves to fight me. I'm calling out the other baddest motherfucker in the game, Jorge Masvidal. Were they talking shit to each other? No, they weren't. But they made a storyline. That fight had street credit. It was the guy who did bare knuckle brawling back in the Kimbo days, Masvidal, fighting Diaz, the guy who always walks up on people and it's on sight. That fight had street cred. It had a crazy storyline. And it headlined a pay-per-view, and it didn't even have a belt on the line, or a real belt. That felt like an old school street fight. That was the vibe I got from that fight. Got the poster right there. It's got the parental advisory style type poster too. It's got its own theme to it. I'll even take it a step further. We got Wonder Boy, one of the nicest fighters ever. He made a storyline. He said, this is the ninja fight. Remember when he fought Pettis? Pettis is known for the Showtime kicks off the cage. Wonder Boy's known for his spinning back kick, his spinning heel kick. That was the ninja fight. You can make a storyline off anything. This is what you got to do. You put a reporter in the middle, and you have both fighters on either side of the long table. Have them hash that shit out. Or put them on a split screen, a side by side, like they did a few years ago. Make a fucking storyline. No more all this, he said this on Twitter, he said this on X. I don't give a shit about Twitter fingers. Alright, this fourth rule's gonna get me in trouble, but I don't care. Here's the fourth rule. I don't need to see women's MMA fights on the main card. I could prove this point so easily. First off, there's only a handful of good women's MMA fights ever. Wei Li versus Joanna. Cyborg versus Nunes. Nunes versus Pena. But the Ronda Rousey days are over. If you started a women's MMA right now, the numbers would be shit. This isn't women's volleyball. I look at it like a NASCAR race in a slug bug. I want to watch the NASCAR. This is why. What would you rather have as your co-main event? Zhang Weili, someone with a belt on her shoulder. Or Dustin Poirier, someone who's never been champ. I would rather have Dustin Poirier as my co-main event any day of the week. I don't care if Weili has a belt on her shoulder. I know I'm going to get a banger, a war in a Dustin Poirier fight. On the last pay-per-view, the women's fight, Amanda Lemos got stopped early because the crowd was booing the whole damn time. John Anik was like, the commission's seen enough. They blew the horn while the fighters were still fighting and there was still time on the clock. Would you rather have Weili with the belt as your co-main event or Dustin Poirier as your co-main event? Would you rather have Amanda Lemos on your main card? Or would you rather have, I don't know, Jean Silva on your main card? Do you see the difference? The difference in quality? When I see a women's fight on the main card, it's a filler fucking fight. Trust me, no one's gonna be crying if Kayla Harrison's not allowed on the main card and she's on the prelims. At least I won't. Some people will hate on that point, but I don't give a fuck. I'm speaking for everyone. That's what everyone thinks. And if that's not what everyone thinks, tell me why the bathroom lines are so damn long during the women's fights. I'm telling you, if you go to the bar during the women's fights, the bathroom lines triple. Alright, now we're on to the final rule. I made sure this is the toughest rule. This is possible here. Have at least 2 backup fighters for the 2 biggest fights on every card. We've been seeing pull-out after pull-out. Fights are getting canceled an hour before the fight now. Arman versus Islam. Pfeiffer versus Gastelum. What the fuck is this? I know damn well they didn't give people of Mexico refunds when Gastelum Pfeiffer got canceled. I know damn well they're not giving refunds to people who bought UFC 314, but Prates versus Neal is now canceled. It's not on the card anymore. So, this is a fair rule. Have 2 backup fighters, UFC, and tell them, hey, we'll pay you. Show up to the card. And if this fight cancels, you'll step up at a catchweight. And this is why it's possible. If you watch the crowd cam at the UFC fights, what do you see? You're going to see a mosh pit of all the fucking fighters, front row. Up close and center. Have 2 of them ready to step up. Step up to the plate on last second. Give them good money. I would rather have a fight rather than no fight. If you guys ain't giving refunds, it's only right. Now that's going to be the hardest rule to achieve, but like I said, everyone's in the crowd already. It's possible. Now that's how you make a good fight card. So no more using apexes as excuses. Cut down on that too. But we got this shit on lock. These are the 5 best rules on how to make a good fight card. Pay-per-view or fight night, doesn't matter. The goal was to start simple and then make the rules a little more difficult as it goes on. Hope I did that. I got one honorable mention though before I head out. Don't just make the big fights in one region. And I mean, don't just give Abu Dhabi all the best fights. Spread it out. They got the worst fans, by the way. They're quiet. I want to see 9-to-5ers screaming with the fucking beer in their hand. And I'm out of here. Peace.